Oh, I live in Italy. I live,
Oh, you did a PhD there.
Yeah, I did a PhD there in the UK, at Kent University.
Okay.
Very district profession of Southeast.
Yeah. Well,
Where did that come from?
Sorry?
Where did that come from?
Britain.
Yeah, I know my
Who's that?
it's the government, yeah.
It's right in the center.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually here unofficially, so whatever I say today, it's not reflected on the U.S. government. Yeah. So yeah, but so I don't know who's here from the U.S. delegation, because people keep asking me, like, who's here from the U.S. delegation, and I actually haven't interacted with them on purpose, so, well, not. Yeah, there's a great coral reef program in NOAA, and our mandate is so large in the fisheries, and then it's interesting how it's set up, you know. Yeah, I'm here for professional development, mostly, so. But happy to tell you anything you want to know or don't want to know. Really don't want to know, so.
all right.
State of
Well, I think we should kick off. Okay, well, welcome, and thank you all very much for coming today. I am expecting a few more people to arrive, so we'll probably get up to maybe 8 people. So, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
You know, we can work together. And because when I developed the program, you know, I didn't know what size group I was getting. I programmed it to finish at 6, which is a very long day, I realise. But if we've got a smaller group, we'll probably get through things much more quickly. So hopefully we can finish it earlier. So I'd just like to tell you a little bit about myself. I work as a lecturer at Charles Sturt University, which is a regional university based in New South Wales in Australia, and Albury, where I'm based, is sort of halfway between Sydney and Melbourne, and I've been there about 10 years, and my main sort of teaching and research interests are around environmental communication, heritage interpretation, tour guiding, sustainable tourism, sustainable behaviours, those are my areas of interest. Prior to going to the university, I worked as a park ranger, so I, actually have some on-road experience working as a ranger. And before that, I worked in the adventure travel industry for 7 years, taking people trekking in the Himalayas and camel safaris in Rajasthan in India, and also more recently, I went down to Antarctica on a cruise ship as one of the leaders down there. So I've got a lot of experience in guiding myself. So I guess one of the reasons that I am presenting this workshop is that last year I went to the Oceania IUCN meeting, and I and a few other people who were members of the Commission for Education and Communication there, and we felt that education and communication wasn't really being very well integrated into the work of the IUCN. It seemed, it's all very focused on, endangered species and ecology and biology, but we sort of felt that, communication education wasn't getting the profile that it should be getting, because after all, we can talk about these sorts of ecological problems, but if we can't deliver a message to our publics, then we can't convert anybody to understand or appreciate or learn more about these sorts of issues, and we're just sort of talking to ourselves, really, which isn't very helpful, because we need to get the message out there. So myself and a woman called Hilary McLeod, who's based at the University of Queensland, and a guy called Richard Riley, who's So there's a bit of a history. So the three of us were supposed to be coming, and then Hillary couldn't get any money to come, and then a day before I left, Rich's wife was very ill and had to go into hospital, so he couldn't come. So suddenly it was just me. And then I sort of put the word out to some of the CBC people, and Fritz very generously and very kindly agreed to come along and help present the program. And I won't sort of say too much about Fritz. I'll let him introduce himself, except to say that he has been involved in the CBC for a long time, and you were a former chair.
Last century.
Last century. Okay. So maybe, Fritz, if you want to say a little bit about yourself.
I'm working as a practical consultant. My work is basically helping, not in the Netherlands, but outside the Netherlands, organizations who are focusing on conservation, sustainable development, to be more effective by integrating communication in their work. To give you an example, just recently, now at the moment involved in a project of BirdLife, where they are kind of trying to partner with the electricity sectors and agricultural sectors in the countries along the flyway from the Rift Valley over the Red Sea, so basically where birds migrate from Europe to Africa and vice versa. And this specific flyway has a few bottlenecks, and to keep the birds flying, you need to really partner with the electricity sector, with tourism, with agriculture, waste, and for conservationists, it's kind of a, you have to turn a few, push a few other buttons in their hand to really be taken seriously by completely different type of people. And that starts with really understanding what communication means. So that's one example, but there are many. I work with people in Africa on adaptation, then working with government and helping them to reach out. This is the type of things.
We've done a few introductions. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Marta Annemann. I'm a secret coordinator specifically from CC Commission. I'm communication coordinator for the Art and Office of Wetlands International in and now I'm working especially for wetlands in the La Plata Basin in South America as one of the single richest biodiversity in the world, Tanzania. And I'm working in communication, trying to work with different stakeholders to promote land planning and capacity building for sustainable use of the wetlands resources in Bangladesh. I'm working with the CISOs of all the Delta, CISOs with different food producers, with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Agriculture, different local organizations. So we have different approach to working with different projects, especially for land planning.
Right.
And you didn't say what we work on. We don't have to, but it's very interesting.
Yeah,
Very,
yeah, no.
very
Yeah. Well, I'm planning to do that later, but let's do it now.
Let's do it now.
So maybe tell us a little bit more about what you're doing.
I'm Patty from the Philippines. I work for Amigo Foundation, a local-based NGO in Palawan, Philippines. We are currently implementing coastal resource management program, community-based healthcare program focusing on Tour Guide Association. My curriculum.
Where you came from the same NGO, same communities organizations. We have, of course, our own problems that are country and address these problems in this way. So we have coastal resource management, we also have things like she said, healthcare and also sustainable livelihood. We also have
So basically, the coastal resource management is divided into six components. Focusing on conservation management, IEC, marine resource, sustainable livelihood, institutional development, sustainability, biodiversity, research and outreach.
And what's IEC?
it's the communication.
Oh, sorry.
It's determined.
We are often sort of shortening the
Yeah. She was talking about SIPA, let's say. Probably doesn't know.
So,
We work with the different sectors in the environmental community. So if there's an issue on, let's say, on the ecosystem, so it's not only for conservation, but we also have other options for or application of sustainable livelihood, especially for affected by, say, conservation. At least in this area, but there were fishermen who were affected. So we also have livelihood. Sustainable livelihood or alternative livelihood, which they can do cow grazing or organic farm. So we also having trainings in our organization, different trainings.
So yeah, my name is Julia Townsend, and I've been working for a few years at the National Oceanic Atmosphere Administration for the U.S. government, specifically at the Marine Protected Areas Center in Monterey. And there are over 1,700 FPAs in the United States. We don't manage them or enforce them or set them up. We are a coordinating body. I've been working on mostly ocean use analyses, so I'm in kind of an interesting niche of that office. And I have fallen into strategic communications, although that is not my training, because I have experience in politics and I see the lack of strategic communications a lot. And especially as we try to reach out to new partners, new constituents, bringing people in. And with ocean use analysis, right now I have like 36 uses, in the United States and all those different user groups and who's going to benefit from our products and how do you get them out. We're constantly asking those questions. So although we don't do direct education, it's more of a, in terms of communicating what we do in partnerships here, and specifically in working on ocean use conflicts and compatibilities for sustainable use. How do you get to sustainable use? And let them know that's important. So, right?
I'm Rachel Coleman and I'm with the Department of Conservation in New Zealand. Our department is a government agency responsible for managing conservation needs. So we manage about 1/3 of New Zealand's land use area, and it's across a whole range of different types of geographical land classifications. Recently, our department's sort of set off on a slightly different strategic direction, which is much more focused around working with others. So basically trying to build the amount of conservation effort that we're achieving through collaboration with other partners, and that's local communities, our even our cultural groups, and also business. So it's quite a different direction for us. It's about trying to sort of do more through others or with others alongside us. My role is I'm a community support manager, so my role is basically to support the operational arm of our business through in their working with communities, and it's sort of communities in a bigger sense. And that's right through from how do we actually get communities involved in conservation work, how do we communicate or interact on difficult conservation issues. So for us, for example, a really big sort of confrontational issue that we have is around pest management and the techniques we use for pest management. Because New Zealand doesn't have, other than bats, has no native mammals. So our native biodiversity is being put at risk by the introduction of particularly things like rats, stoats, ferrets. And the methods that we use in controlling those pests in New Zealand are quite, I suppose, controversial, and they were a good user of toxic antimony. So there's a lot of, I suppose, a lot of my role is about managing some of the interface with communities, other different issues, as well as trying to build the capacity and growth conservation of those groups.
Thank you.
I started with sort of communication, education type role in the zoo. I worked in the zoo for about 6 years. And then I moved on to sort of more the social marketing type angle, and that's where I'm at now doing a PhD. And I revolved around social marketing, and now we can try to use marketing rules to improve the way we do things for conservation, especially in terms of changing behaviour. I've done projects in different places, like one is in India, and the next one is going to be in West Africa, so to make an instance. So I'm very much looking forward to that, hoping that some of the things I learned here can be applied as well.
Introduce yourself.
Nikki Wallace, Philippines. I've just moved back from 2 years studying in Australia. In the very early stages of NGO startup and doing some research experience. And what organization? I'm myself.
Okay, thank you everyone. If you just want to turn around, just to remind you, I guess, what we're going to cover today. Basic communication theory, I've really compressed that because I think most of you are way ahead of that. But thinking about why a strategic communication plan is so important to deliver effective conservation messages. And then essentially this workshop is going to work through steps that you need to take to develop your message and how you implement it. So what I hope by the end of this session you will have pretty well completed an outline for a communication plan for an issue that is of current interest for you. So I might be trying to address pest species management, for example. So what we're going to do is each of you will have a template. So if you want to just take one, and if you muck it up, there's another one on the back. So what we're going to do today is essentially work through this template and fill in, as we go along. And by the end of today, you will have had this, and you can obviously take it away with you, and use it as a template for any other future sort of conservation message planning that you want to do. Even though we've got a small group, I'd still like to try and sort of break off and do some work in small groups or pairs so that we get to know each other more, and there's more sort of variety. We will be breaking for morning tea around 10:30. We'll have lunch at 1 o'clock, and I haven't organised anything, so I'm happy for us to go somewhere together, or you can go and do your own thing. I don't really mind. I wasn't sure how many people were going to be here, and did you all like Korean food, Chinese food, whatever. And then we will have a break in the afternoon as well for afternoon tea.